Hey guys, I don't know how the video quality is on you or for you, but on my computer here, it's really kind of crappy. So let me know what you think of the video quality. I just actually hardwired in some Ethernet cables, so hopefully that makes a difference. We tried this once before and it was really choppy, so I'm hoping that this will smooth things out a little bit. So for the few of you that are watching, how is the video quality on your screen? Seamus Newt, the audio quality is not very good. There was somebody totally sawing in the background of my neighbor or something. It was just bad timing, maybe. It's funny because on my screen right now, on the YouTube screen, my screen froze long ago when I was still looking over that way. And then on the Google Plus page, I seem to be going. So that seems to be pretty good. It's like a second behind. That's good that it looks okay anyways. So this was really just a spontaneous thing. I have no top. I'm really just as I said, trying out the new internet connection here and seeing if it's any better than the last time. I guess after we're done, I'm gonna have to watch it myself and see how it is. But I'd love to get some more live events and questions and answers and stuff like that going, with of course some notice for you guys so you don't just spontaneously stumble across me talking to myself on the screen. So at least this time around, we I figured out the comments. I can see your comments, so that's good. Quality is pretty good. Orchid, please. How is the audio quality, Orchid, please? It is a lot better now. I bet it was, yeah, the guy behind me just doing what he was doing to his house. There was some kind of saw or sander. I think he's painting his house. So yeah. I don't know why it was fascinating to watch myself on the screen. Good. Well, as long as I'm in frame, if you have any questions or anything that you want to know about, please let me know while I'm here, just kind of mucking around. I am be getting some text messages as well. I'm able to muck around out here because my wife and son are away for the week, so I have a little bit of extra time on my hands. But right now we'll be getting ready for dinner. Normally it's 5:30 here. I don't have to do anything except for maybe go grab myself a beer. That gives me an idea. I'm going to go grab myself a beer. I'll be right back. I don't know what the lag is behind this, so I'm just seeing your comment now, Seamus Newt. How did I hardwire it in out here? Same way as I get all my other electricity and everything out here. The first time I tried to do a live event out here, it was completely wireless. So I was using my laptop, which is right below the screen here. I was using my laptop out here, beaming wirelessly into the center of my house. So I just I ran Ethernet cable down through the basement, up and around to the conduit where my water and my electricity come in, and ran it behind the greenhouse. and it's actually hardwired in for all of the video cameras and stuff that are out here for other purposes. So since it was out here anyways, I got a neat little adapter that allows me to use the big old Ethernet cable into my USB port, and voila. What potting mix do I recommend for fowl? I'll be right back, and I'll answer that in 1 second. I'm just going to go grab a drink because I've got all the fans off and the air conditioner off, and it's getting really hot in here. So I'm going to spin you around that way to enjoy the view for a second, and I'll be right back, guys. Hey, I'm back. I'm turning and sit back down. And I figured out what that noise is back there. Is my neighbor building a fence. Of all the times I pick to do this, he's busy building a fence back there. So, all right. Make sure I'm still in view. Yes, I'm going to answer your question right now. For Phalaenopsis, I'm just going to go grab one. Sorry, another thing I'm not used to is this thing has the mics are in front of me. I'm used to having a lapel mic so I can walk around the greenhouse, and you guys still come with me. No matter what way I turn, I'm used to you being able to hear me exactly the same. So I can't leave without you guys probably not being able to hear me at all. Anyways, this fowl is a sad little fowl that I just repotted this month, like this week, and I used a combination of perlite, medium bark, small bark, and quite a bit of moss in there. I don't know if you can see this or not. Let me see what it looks like on your screen there. Yeah, if your screen is as clear as my screen, you should be able to see that. So I use that. I don't use straight moss in here because it just never dries out. I use straight moss for like the vampire or the Draculas, and that's about it. So humid in here. I do use this mix in the house as well because I have most of my fowls in the house, but they dry out a lot faster. But it's a good mix. I've basically started switching all of my fowls to that sort of mix, staying away from the moss as much as I can. And let's see. What do I do about spider mites, Orchid, please? Spider mites, I haven't had to deal with since last spring when my Dendrobium Phalaenopsis, sorry, my Nobile Dendrobiums up there got spider mites when I brought them outside. Humidity is the major role in keeping spider mites at bay. It's basically it's a non-issue in here. For spider mites, something like a neem oil or any kind of thing like that would also help with them. I found for those ones behind me there that you can't quite see, that I just blasted them with a hose a few days in a row, and the spider mites were basically gone. There is products that I use. Sorry, he's drilling again. He's like drilling the post into the ground right now. There's products I use. I can't see it right now. There's one called Shuttle O. It's a systemic. Once a year or so, everything gets treated. I also make sure I treat everything before it comes in here if I don't know where it's been. And that's super bad timing. Janet 11, do you suggest a bloom fertilizer and a growth fertilizer, or do you recommend one fertilizer year round? I have been up and down with my fertilizers. That's driving me nuts. I have been up and down with my fertilizers as to what I use and what I don't use. This year, starting this spring, I started fertilizing heavily with everything that I had that was around. But I found one in particular. I think it's in the house right now. It's the Miracle-Gro tomato food. I could go grab the box. The reason I decided on the tomato food is it actually has a whole bunch of micronutrients in it as well. One being magnesium. And I think my plants are really short on magnesium. So I have in the last few months brought out some magnesium as well, which I also think ended up back in the house because I was fertilizing my plants in the house. But yeah, I like at this point, for chemical-based fertilizer, the Miracle-Gro tomato is the one to get. Sophia, hi Brad, do you know if fragrant orchids will still be fragrant under grow lights, not sunlight? That is a very good question. I don't grow anything under lights at all, so I don't know. I think it's going to depend on the individual orchid, because some orchids smell better in the morning before the sun hits them. Others smell better right at the when the sun is on them, and others they smell at nighttime. So this little tiny guy here, I don't know if you can see that very well. This is my Neophanita Facata samurai orchid. It has just bloomed for the first time for me. I'm going to do a video on this one, I think, because I really like it. It took me 2 years to get these blooms on here, and the first few days it didn't smell at all, but now it smells like, you know, that old style sunscreen lathered up with this like copper tone with the coconut. It's like heavily coconut to me. Another interesting thing is everybody smells orchids differently. Males and females smell the same orchid, they'll smell different things. It's really hard to describe orchid smells, but this one I really like. You're going to see that one again. And how do I transplant it? How do I do a pot for transplant for a snow pea? You know what's funny? Holy moly guacamole! I just found some snow pea seeds in the house that I think they're a couple years old. I literally just found them when I was trying to find this adapter piece. And I'm getting text messages again. It's the wife. Everything has to stop for one moment. Remember I said she's away right now. She doesn't actually know I'm like live right now. For a snow pea, I would personally, if I had to plant a pea in the first place, I would actually probably put it in one of those disposable peat pots, and you can put them in there and start them where you want to start them in your little grow chamber or whatever. And then, but I mean, as long as your climate's somewhat warm, they should be able to go straight in the ground as well. But I've never had much luck with them. What else? Your stream is nice, Brad. I will get a greenhouse this summer for my 400 orchids. It's only 17 from Germany. Greetings, Devin from Germany. That's a lot of orchids to not have a greenhouse for. Devin, what do you do with all your orchids when you're without a greenhouse? Are they in your house? That's a lot. Let's see. So this whole thing takes a little getting used to for me as well. It's a completely different interface for a live event that that I've never seen before. So I know when I first was trying the live events like a while back, I couldn't even find out where the comments came in. We can figure out where the comments are now. That's very good. It's in like 4 rooms. You have the cold room, the intermediate room, the warm room, and the anything goes room. Yeah, I guess they're all under lights in there as well. It must be really hot. It's really hot in here too. At least he's stopped building the fence. It's funny because my YouTube page, that somewhat looks like the page you'd be looking at on your laptop, it's still just spinning. It's like frozen. I can't see like the live feed. So I'm switching back and forth between the Google Plus and the YouTube, because YouTube has a comments and Google Plus seems to not be frozen. So let's see. But the YouTube one has the comment section, so I gotta keep poking back to there. Well, I'm glad. Hopefully the audio is okay for you. You look forward to watching this later because it does upload as a video that you can rewatch later. So I'm going to be doing that. It'll go in the playlist called Live Feeds. If you missed the first live feed, it was kind of choppy, but it's in that playlist as well. What else? What else? I don't know. I got nothing. Just my beer. I shot 3 videos this morning. One of them I have released. There's another 1 or 2 to come tomorrow, or 1 tomorrow and 1 for Sunday. So happy about that. There, I have a new little greenhouse out front, just like a little tiny one that's like 5 by 4. I go into some detail with it. Very scary little volatile thing that I'm growing all my like heat-loving Venus flytraps in and stuff. I said in the video, I think I'm gonna have better Venus flytraps this year than I've ever had before in my life. So that's gonna be really cool. I'm excited about that. I never really have a whole lot to show in Venus flytraps except for maybe in August and September. But yeah. Orchids, please. What should I do if a newly transplanted orchids media grows mold in like a week? You know what? I've seen that as well. And I've had like whole batches of media do that. I'm not even sure what causes it. The stuff it was before I was even making my own. Like, I make my own now. I have about 2 gallons of it left right here that I've been using this week. And so far so good with that stuff. But I've like opened up media and it's done that moldy thing as well. And I didn't do much for it, I don't think. The mold eventually went away. I think there's probably something on the bark that's feeding the mold, and once whatever's on there is gone, it should be gone. I didn't see any ill effects. If you love your plant and it's really bad, like mine weren't that bad, so if it's really bad, I would probably try it again. I would assume though the whole bag was going to be contaminated like that, so it might be wise if you're really worried about it. If you can take back the bag, like if it's a place that it comes back to easily, I would take back the remainder and tell them it's growing mold and try to exchange it, because the next one's likely not to do that. I've only ran across that once or twice. Thanks, Paul. I love my carnivorous plants as well. Do I have any succulents? Yes, I do. Do Hoyas count as succulents? Because I have 3 Hoyas right now, and I have a whole bunch more on order, hopefully. So my collection of Hoyas, this is like the inside live scoop. My collection of Hoyas is hopefully going to go from 3 to like 23 overnight, sometime next month. My only other succulents are these guys right here, and I got them just this year. I was able to ID them. Haworthia. I've seen nicer ones, but this one was cheap. I seen one today that actually looked just like this, but had like white around it, so it was kind of nicer, but it was bigger. And then I have this guy here is my other succulent, Gusteria, and I think it's a hybrid called Little Warty. And if you look really close at it, it has little warty things on it. They're kind of rough and bumpy. Those are my only two. I do potentially have another kind of cool cactus coming as well, but I don't want to ruin that. Not really a succulent, but I don't think it has prickles, so it might be classed as more of a succulent. Let's see. How often do I water my Vanda orchids and my Spanish moss? Well, Devin, my Vandas really, I don't have, I think I handed orchids. 3 of them hang, 3 of them are in pots. The 3 that are in pots do fabulous because they retain their water better. This year, along with fertilizing everything a whole lot more, I've made a real point to water my Vandas, soaking them in the sink at least twice a week, at least once a week with like a fertilizer solution. And I don't go light either. This week, I think they got like, I filled up the sink behind you, and with like this much water, I put a couple capfuls of seaweed fertilizer in there, a capful of fish fertilizer in there. I started using fish fertilizer this year. And boy, don't use it in your house. Don't use it in your rooms. Don't do that. And then I used the Miracle Grow tomato stuff in there as well. It was like this soupy mix, and I just submerged them right in there. I leave them for a good half an hour, and then usually I do the same with the Spanish moss. I'm not so diligent with it that I take it to the sink every time, but I bet you once a month I take it to the sink and give it some fertilizer water. The rest of the time, the Spanish moss is now hanging against the back wall. I spray that back wall quite often because a lot of the penthes are back there, and I'll just go up and down it. The back side of the moss probably isn't getting nearly enough water, which is why I take it down at least once a month or so. But there's a lot of it now. It's getting huge. When I dump it all in the sink, I'm careful, but each like clump I put in the sink, I think this time around the sink was like 3/4 full of just Spanish moss before I got all soaking wet. And just have to, everybody was never even read, so she cares, eh? What else? Started watching your videos a year ago when I got back into care of plants. I'm afraid if I keep watching, it'll be Orchid next. Great videos. Thanks, Bob. Orchids are pretty addictive too, and they all go really nicely together. So, how do you plant a Venus flytrap? They're the ones I got. You're going to see a video with Venus flytraps this weekend if you watch my channel regularly. You're going to see they're quite little. They come as little chromosomes at first. I just put them right in like a peat perlite mix. I just make sure the peat is quite wet to start with. Pre-wet the peat, and you should be good to go. We're really simple. Don't plant them too deep. You want to be able to see where the growth point is and make sure it's coming out, and never let them dry out. Super easy. Orcus, please, is my stuff from Raven Vision. The stuff I get, no, I get it locally here on Vancouver Island. I don't know if you see my video with the different mixes that I use. It comes in massive bags like an hour away. So I don't need to get it from Raven Vision. I am still using some of their fertilizers for pelleted stuff and going through some of their pots and stuff like that. But that's about all I have from them right now. All right. RNA. I was wondering, did you just get 2 of each of the Westuba and Nepenthes? Did I just get them? No, I didn't just get them. Or is it just affected tissue culture? Splitting one plant. Oh, did I get 2 of each? No, yeah, no, I got 2 of each. It has 2 growth points on it. And when I got it, I looked at it, and the growth points it was 2 growth points with 1 root. And when I looked at it, I'm like, I probably could separate it off, and it probably would have done better. The main one would have done better. I think it would have been bigger, but I kept both growth points on there, and it took a while, but now they're both starting to take off properly. The next time I repot, I'll look at separating it again once it has a bit of size to it. But no, I did get 2 of each. The Leonardo eyes, Edwardsianas. I bought 2 Edwardsianas. I wish I got 2 for buy one get one free. That would be great, especially with the Edwardsiana. Not to mention the Velosas. Yes, I tried Velosas once and I failed. They lasted about 3 weeks. So the freezer actually just kicked on. It's making a funny noise right now, just the compressor. But yeah, I think Velosas, they're not my most valuable plant, but they're definitely one of my top favorites. I really, really want to make sure of my batches I get at least 1 or 2 good ones that are going to grow really fast. And yeah, it's funny because they all grow at different speeds. But most of those, when they came in, they were tiny, 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 small plants. I thought I was going to lose like most of them, and I lost none of them this time around, so that was good. There's 2 or 3 different batches there, and then there's 1 plant from JH as well in there. Any tips for regrowing roots on Vanda seedlings? Mine only has 2. One was growing 1, then it stopped, and it's now growing a new leaf. That's by Twisted Yogi 13. The Vanda roots are pretty hardy. Hold on one sec. I'm just going to grab a Vanda from up there. I think it's going to be the closest. All right, so I have to switch to camera mode and make sure that we can both see what we're looking at here. Hold on. So here's my Vanda. We got a little bit of sun spotting or cold damage or something last year, but it's growing out of that nicely. So Vanda roots. New Vanda root is coming out of the center of the plant here. I'm kind of looking on camera to make sure I'm looking right. Wait, I'm going to bring you in a little closer. Vanda root tried to grow last year right here, hit this wire, and it touched it. And this wire must have some kind of zinc coating on. The tip of the wire was in contact with that for like a few weeks. It tried to push through it, and you would have thought if it was any other branch of that, it would just be fine. I moved the wire out of the way, and it like burnt it so bad all the way back to the core. It never did do anything. With that being said, this plant over the wintertime was really rambunctious as well. So I zap strapped some of the roots really tight in against these sides, and they've all started growing again since there's been more light. The other thing I wanted to show you, maybe it's not on this plant, I actually took scissors to these roots because they were too long, and I just literally like cut them off, and they started regrowing. So I wouldn't worry about that. Bad example because I was looking for one that I had scissors or cut with scissors, but it's not this one apparently. So yeah, don't worry about your roots. They should grow right back, right out of the sides anyways, or like if a root gets damaged, just like cut it off and it'll start to grow again. And there was my phone. So you say you had a couple of veloces grow to 6 inches across, so then you lost them when you repotted them. They said, and when it froze, my screen's scrolling here. Where'd it go? And when it froze, what do you mean by when it froze? Did the plant freeze? Because it might not have been the repotting, it might have been the freezing that did it. I'm really hoping that my the one in the center there, which is now, I mean, it's done good, is like 10 times bigger than it was when I got it last year. I really hope that one goes to like 6 inches. I have a whole freezer for them. I think the Kinabalu ones are going to be, you're trying one Kinabalu and one Tambayukin. I think is that how you say that? Tambayukin? Is that from JH there? I think they're, wow, you've seen that fast? That was like instant. We have like no lag right now. Oh, yep, the plant froze. Never mind. You answered that question. I guess you'll see in a minute what I was talking. Your question, Jackie Fu. Okay, I'll get right back to you. I'll try to scroll up. I think the Tambayukan ones, they can grow a little bit warmer, but the Kinabalu, they're all growing the same. Oh, I see what happened. So I just grow them all stone cold, and they seem to be doing fine. I'm growing much colder with the Tambayukan than it was previously grown, and it's still getting good leaf jumps. Where are you, Jackie Fu? There you are. A few questions. One, what pest prevention measures do you take on your outdoor orchids, such as dendrobiums? What is your experience with using pure lava rock? How often do you repot a Vanda? Pest prevention measures outdoors. I don't have a whole lot of orchids outdoors anymore. My dendrobium have spider mites, so now they're still in here. I didn't bother putting them out. My cymbidiums I didn't put out this year. They're still in here as well. But for the most part, I try to stay with natural preventatives if I can. The best thing to do to get most bugs out is submerge the pot in water, and anything creepy crawly will just kind of come out of the top really quickly and just be there with tweezers like wood bugs and stuff like that. You can get out easily. The other thing for prevention when I bring them back in is I actually use this stuff here, which is, what's happening? Which is just slug and snail bait. It's a pet safe. It's just little tiny pellets, and hopefully you can see that. I can't see what we're looking at right now. And anyways, I just got that at Walmart. I sprinkle that in my pots and around the grow area, and it gets rid of slugs, snails, those little bush snails that are in pots. It kills wood bugs, it kills beetles, it kills so many things that eat it. I find all kinds of dead bugs around in the fall after I put this out. If going gets rough, I do have proper measures to take care of scale and mealy bugs and stuff like that too. It's just systemics, but I try not to use them if I don't have to. I think pure lava rock would be awesome if, well, I guess it's pretty tropical in here, but I think it'd be awesome in the tropics where you never have to really worry about repotting. So that's kind of cool. Trouble with lava rock for me is I repot quite often, so when it's in the mix, by the time when I have to get rid of the mix, it then goes into the compost, and I end up with a compost bin full of lava rock. So I try not to use lava rock unless stuff really, really needs it. And how often do I repot a Vanda? The Vanda's up in the pots right now that I made the video on a couple years back. Probably need to be repotted, but I haven't done it yet, so they're sitting there 2 years. The other Vandas that are in baskets, they don't have any media at all, so I never have to repot them. I need to know, Peter, I need to know how much sunlight my pedunculas need. It's starting to have dry leaves and looks like brown at the tips. Are these Mexican butterworts or Mexican pedunculas? They can handle a lot of sun, but the key is they need humidity as well. So I have mine on the same shelf as my helianthores, they get morning sun for a few hours, and then by the time it gets really hot on the south wall, some of them depends. But I see that they're not as colorful as they could be. I think they could handle some more light just fine. But humidity is definitely, sounds like more your issue than light, unless you threw them outside and put them like in direct sun right away. Outside is so different. What else do we have? Yeah, you got it from JH. How long ago did you get yours? I used to vent outside, and one day it went down to minus 45, and that did it. I lost a lot of my Nepenthes, very valuable ones. I've seen pictures of your setup actually, and yeah, it looks awesome. I don't have anything like that. It doesn't look as mine don't look quite that styling. I'm afraid. It's kind of cool to be able to grow inside, but yeah, venting outside would be kind of tedious. You almost need one of those thermostats that controls the velocity of the fan. So you have the set point for day and night, and it would be in a cooling mode that the further away it was from the set point, the faster the fan would pull it in. I don't know, maybe something like that would work. Raz, I'm glad the stream looks good. Definitely a lot better. It sounds like this time than last time. That's for sure. So it's still funny. I wish my YouTube page wasn't frozen. I'm glad the comments aren't frozen though. But anyways, that's probably I don't even know how long it's been yet, but we're gonna have to wrap this up in like 5 minutes. So if you have any last questions, please bring them in. And otherwise, I'm glad it seems like you guys think it was a success. As I say, it does get automatically uploaded later, so I'll look at it and see what I think of it. But worth running up the wire anyways, by the sounds of it. Deracent. Hi Brad, I purchased a Cymbidium bulb and it had no roots. What can I do to start the roots to grow? Thanks. Hey Michael, glad it's fine Australia. A Cymbidium bulb, like you bought a back bulb and it has no roots. I would probably, that's a tough one because back bulbs, like if it's an old bulb, it's not going to grow new roots. So you got to wait for the new bulb to start to grow, and that's where your new generation of roots is going to be. So I would probably just kind of put it in a little 4-inch pot with a good chunk of moss, probably bag it up and keep the humidity really, really high. Unless you're in a greenhouse like this, it has humidity control. Keep the humidity really high, and then hopefully you're going to get some new growth on that because that's what you're looking for is a new growth. And then the new growth will put out new roots after a certain amount of time. Jeanette 11. I am in Canada, British Columbia, on Vancouver Island. You should do this weekly, bi-weekly, or whatever works for you. I know I really I bought I tried the streaming for a couple days in a row there. It was a while back. At first I tried to just with my camera on the laptop and it really sucked. Then I bought the best camera I could possibly buy. Webcams are so cheap. It was like the best camera I could possibly buy was like $80 or something. And I tried it with the camera that you're using now. But being I was wireless, trying to go into the house with it, it was still choppy. So then I just got around to buying this like adapter here for my laptop because the Ethernet cables don't plug into the new laptops anymore. But yeah, I will try to do this more often. The other problem is just finding time for it. As I say, my wife is away right now, so all of a sudden I have lots of time. But maybe I will set up something again for this weekend. But anyways, guys, that is about all that I have here from Vancouver Island. Or here from Vancouver. It is great weather. What can I do to prevent collar rot in cymbidiums? The new leads just pull out and are black on the bottoms. Michael, I would do some research on calcium deficiency and go from there. Otherwise, if it's water getting in, I could do it. But it sounds like it could be something that's you could. I mean, there's several avenues it could be. I would check out calcium deficiency because it's the easiest. I don't know if I have the product close by. Thyson 27 is an antibacterial that you can spray on there if you think there's like a bacterial problem. And yeah, just keep them drier. That's about all you can do. The Brave Gamer, hi, hello. Hey, hello. So as I say, I'm gonna have to end this for now. Thanks for all your questions though, and won't let me comment, but I'm getting text messages now. Won't let me comment, but wow, it's from my wife. She's watching. Okay, that one threw me. She just said, it won't let me comment, but I love you. We're enjoying the show. So I don't even know who's enjoying the show. But anyways, thanks, guys. We will try this again really soon. Sorry if there's no, I can't answer everybody's questions, but we will do this again, especially now that I have a little bit of, that it's actually going to work. A little bit of confidence is going to work because the last time I just wasn't happy with it. So bye for now, guys.